It's time to put back on our happy faces with Smile 2. Sky Riley, a Grammy-selling artist, is trying to recover and tour again after a car accident and drug abuse ruined her life a year prior. Falling back into old habits, she contacts her old drug dealer in order to get pain pills for her injuries. But she finds him terrified, paranoid, as he brutally ends his life in front of her. Now Sky must come face to face with the smile curse, all while dealing with the pressures of fame and the eyes on her. Whew! This was a beyond slam dunk as far as a sequel to a horror film. Everything that I loved about the first movie was taken up so many more notches in this movie. I mean, obviously they got a giant budget and they used it. They damn sure used it. It's astounding to me that this is only the second movie that Parker Finn has ever made. And the first being the first Smile. He wrote, produced, and directed this movie, and the first one. Offhand, I've rarely, if ever, seen it work really, really well. I mean, you do have some exceptions. For instance, the creator of the Terrifier series, which I'm not a fan of. You know, if you like him, have at it. Michael Dougherty is probably the only other one I could think of. But it's very rare to find someone who is understanding of when to use and when not to use the filming techniques that he does. What I loved so much about this movie is the first movie was very much about isolation. Feeling that you're going crazy and everyone wants to get away from you. But this movie takes that same concept but flips it, because how can you escape? You're a celebrity. You can't escape. So what if that same concept of you're going full on crazy and no one's believing you and you have a history of horrible things that take away your credibility, and it's just stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks, and Naomi Scott really delivered. In the original movie, Sosie Bacon, she also carried the film from where it was going. And although her performance was very subdued, it was very quiet, it was very timid, went and elevated and elevated and elevated. Sky Riley, the character Naomi Scott plays, she starts at like a 6 and then just keeps elevating and going. It played a lot off of the unreliable narrator, but it also played off of, is this going to affect her? And there were parts where I'm like, is this real? Is this not real? I'm trying to follow the pieces together. The practical effects, holy shit, they went way above and beyond. The first movie was gory for an unexpected audience. This movie was gory to an expecting audience, and that level of expectation was well achieved, and I appreciated it. It didn't go over the board. It went just enough to keep you so grossed out, but so disturbed, but so enthralled, and so in the same bubble. It kept in that same loop, and I loved it for that. I really like the idea of a celebrity going through this sort of stuff. And honestly, the music was pretty damn good. I was really shocked, because usually when they do a movie centered around a pop star or someone using a musician as a plot device, they kind of, depending on the director and writer, make the music less important. But here you could tell they put a lot of heart and effort into this production. It's really all on screen. It's literally showing your guts. It's putting it out there. I honestly feel Naomi Scott has a future in horror. I want to see her in more horror movies. I think her most famous role to date before this movie was playing Jasmine in the live-action Aladdin. And even though that movie was, well, generic, she actually did a good job in it. So, you know, I've never seen a role that she's been in where she's done a bad job. It's usually she's just so happens to be in crap productions. But honestly, she did a great job here. She carried the movie. It was the little things that she did. She had so much emotion, so much fear, pure fear. The fear that unfortunately Sosie Bacon in the original just didn't have. I mean, she was scared, but she wasn't until really scared until like 2/3 of the movie. And I'm like, come on, man, I would be terrified if this stuff was happening to me, you know, like at least somewhat freak out. But it didn't really elevate, but this one 100% elevated. It's kind of funny. I think back to the movie Substance, and that ending was shock for shock's sake, and it left the audience going, huh? What? Ending? This movie left the audience going, oh no. And then I loved it. I loved just, this is a great graphic, messed up body horror, dark, twisted, gory film. It above and beyond the first one. I don't really want to give away too much, but trust me, it's worth seeing in theaters. It's worth enjoying. But like I said, there is a bunch of cringe horror. This is definitely one you should check out for sure. I'm not sure if Parker Finn's going to make a third movie or if he's going to do it in a different venture, but I guarantee you I'm going to be keeping an eye on his career for sure. Come back for more spooky goodness here on Jack-O-Ween.